I've never seen it.
My bike got stolen, and I'm trying to get my dad rebuilds bikes and stuff. So
that's cool.
I'm going to Denver to do a show. I get a text message like, "Hey, your friend died."
I know, really. Oh, another one.
And so my dad's like, "Can I bring a bike to Denver because he's gonna visit?" And
that's awesome.
You know what I mean?
So
that I can because I'm driving, I can't fly. And
anymore?
So
you don't fly anymore?
I don't fly anymore.
Yeah.
Between how much it hurts my head physically.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And
altitude.
Yeah, I think the pressure change.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you going to be okay in Colorado with that?
I've been in Denver.
Is true.
Yeah.
And it's been all right. I think, I don't know if it's just all right. It's the same.
Sure.
I don't know if it's like a gentle incline change or whatever it is, but.
Because it affects me pretty bad. So I can
Does it?
The change, yeah.
Denver is weird. No one should have stopped there.
I don't think so.
It's beautiful.
I agree.
But
one of my favorite places, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually not one of mine.
Really? I love it there.
I don't think I had the experience that everyone else had when I went.
Yeah.
I was really confused. I was like, this is not a great city. I thought there were mountains. Granted, there were circumstances. I did drive over a curb and break the axle on the car I was renting.
Oh God.
So you got... No, you don't like car wrecks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me get in a car accident. Denver made me get in a car accident, and
the altitude.
Yeah, I liked Boulder better. Boulder was
Boulder is like a fake town.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
That's why I like
Boulder's
it.
great. Boulder's pretty great.
Boulder's cool.
Boulder
Fort Collins is okay.
Boulder's like an AI college town. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, really? This is all tucked in. But it feels, and I said this in Boulder, and they didn't love it. I was like, I feel like in this town, everyone hates everyone who moved here after them, no matter how recently that was.
Yeah.
I was like, if you moved here 2 months ago, you hate someone who moved here this week.
They didn't like it?
No, they're like, oh, this, because I said the exact same thing in Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they had the exact same hatred. Hey, it's my sister. FaceTime. I can't.
I dare you.
And they said the exact same thing there, and they also didn't like it. And the bartender was like, they're not laughing because it's them.
Oh, right. They don't
Yeah,
have
that's
the
true.
perspective. I ran into a bunch of boomers that are from 10 minutes away from where I grew up in New Jersey, out at the Boulder show that I assume you're talking about.
Yeah. Bread show.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is why I love it here, because I'm programmed.
It is a really great place for I'm actually going to Boulder to do that show again next month.
It's so good.
Oh, I gotta hit them up.
What's it? The Comedy Fort. And then
and
show
Fort
in
Collins.
Denver.
Fort Collins is nice. It's just Fort Collins feels like everyone is working their way up to something.
Sure.
I just want I
want
them to put me on High Plains because I just want to have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean Denver's
I did
great
High
during
Plains
that.
a few months ago,
and it was fun.
It was so
very
fun.
Yeah, everybody says it's the most fun. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just want to do High Plains. When I go there on my own, I drive into curbs, and I feel like if I had
yeah. You need to not be driving there. I didn't drive once. Everyone drove us.
I really am not into taking their public transportation.
No. The High Plains, they drive you around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
that's why
then
you
see,
gotta go
exactly.
driver, yeah.
That's why I need to do High Plains because I can't drive. I can't be trusted.
Yeah.
That's a fun reason. Also comedy and stuff.
Yeah. Also, it's the most fun.
For sure. I literally just go all the way to Denver to have someone drive me, and when I could just get an Uber.
You drove there. I drove once I got to city limits. I used to always drive to Colorado from Missouri, and it's the worst drive in the entire world because it's just the state of Kansas, which is completely flat. And then you get to Colorado, and you're like, and then it's 3 hours still before you see mountains.
Yeah.
So you're like, I got fucking conned.
Yeah.
In this drive. It's the actual worst drive, maybe Nebraska, but I feel like that's the same drive.
It's a huge letdown. We almost moved to a suburb outside of Denver when I was a kid.
Aurora?
Yes.
Really? That's crazy.
Well, because my dad almost got a job out there. And he was interviewing, so the whole family drove out.
As a school shooter?
Yeah. Well, that's why
they're hiring. They're always hiring. Their movie theaters are hiring. Okay.
I buried the lead that that's how he died.
Yeah.
No.
Is Columbine in Aurora?
I don't think so. It might be in Columbine.
It might be. I think.
Oh yeah. That sounds right. Columbine High School's probably. I forget that.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
In regular towns,
thank God that was the one and only school shooting.
Yeah, thank God.
Can you imagine if there was a Chicago high school? Because that's everybody.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that, I'm like, where's that located?
The bigger the city, if it's a big enough city, it's named after people.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they're just, it'll be someone famous from near-ish or a president.
Yeah. Lincoln.
Like
I went to Lincoln Elementary and then Whitney Young High School.
There you go.
it was all townships and counties where I grew up. So it was like I went to Union Township School.
Yeah.
And then I went to I went to North Hunterdon, which is Hunterdon County. And Voorhees, I don't know where that came from.
I went to schools. My elementary school and middle school were named after people, and I'm like, but these weren't even famous. But this was just like a rich guy in Blue Springs, Missouri, like John Nowlin Elementary. Who could that possibly be?
Yeah.
Who could that? Hal McCarter was the name. Hal McCarter, H-A-L. I don't know if it's H-A-L-L or L. Who is that?
It's hilarious.
Well, a lot of like early school, like early schools were literally just run by a rich person. Like the principal of the school really early on was like, it was just run by someone who wanted to like, they weren't about education.
That's such a funny thing to get it. You're like, I want to be the elementary school namesake.
Like in South Pasadena, for example, because I read this stupid history book, the principal of I read a
stupid history book. Get that, kids.
I consumed some dumbass words in a stupid fucking order.
I got really excited about learning the history of this weird, because it's so fucking weird. And
for South Pasadena, I know it is a city.
Yes.
It is a address wise. Was it always, or is this a real estate thing?
No, it always was. And it was like a really big deal for them that they were not
I'm picturing
Pasadena.
the most passive Pasadena aggressive civil war.
Hilarious.
Oh, they wanted to be called Indianola because most of the people that early came over from Indiana. And so they wanted to call it, they kept re-voting on the name.
They were calling them Indianans, but actually they were just native South Pasadenans.
And they were so mad that they got confused with Pasadena. It was like a whole big thing. And then the principal, but then it did turn into a huge real estate thing because the principal, the principal of the high school or like the local school, he quit to like be a real estate tycoon.
Outside of in Chicago, outside of Gary, we don't respect Indiana at all. So I can't imagine anyone
outside
wanting
of
to be
Gary,
known.
Well respectable, well-rounded, safe suburb Gary.
It's just that they'll kill us, so we have to say nice things about them. So.
No, it was like a planet of alien Indians.
That's so wild.
I strongly don't like this. This can be said. I don't mind this. Every other part of the country, great. Indiana.
Oh, I don't think Indiana's outside of anyone's bottom
Megan
three.
Gailey would disagree with you.
I know, and we talk about it every week.
Aside from people who are from Indiana, because the thing about Indiana is every state that touches it, it's their least favorite state.
Absolutely.
Every other state in the whole country, it's a bottom four. To the point where if you're like, what are your least favorite states? People list some, and you're like, what about Indiana? Be like, oh, I forgot. It's the worst.
Yeah.
No one even remember. Like if you're from
Arizona.
Arizona.
The home of the Klan? Yeah, that place is not great.
I did a blue chip casino in Indiana like 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I think I did that too.
Yeah, that was like one of the one-nighters where you could make like an easy $200-$300.
However,
what?
Wasn't it terrible?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was old people eating like fettuccine Alfredo in the front row.
Right. They're with their one weak arm and one really strong slot machine arm, eating the. I did the crackers in downtown.
Yeah.
I hate being a comedian. Being a comedian.
No.
Yeah, it means you go to the worst places.
All
in the
the
world.
clubs inherently were called crackers because they were once again named after the owners. And this one, I remember one night right before the show, I spilled coffee all over my shirt and I had to run. The only place you could get to, I didn't have a car, was like a TJ Maxx that's like a half-mile walk on the side of the highway. I ran there. I bought a new shirt, just like a button-up shirt with a little pattern on it. I went up. The show was, they're okay. I walk on stage, and I swear to God, the first thing someone said was, "Nice shirt." Someone in the crowd heckled me with that, and I was like, "You don't even realize the insecurity you just exploited." And then I explained it all, and then he goes, "Okay." These are there's a nice Kurt Vonnegut mural, and that's about what you're getting out of Indianapolis.
Wow.
The best part about Indianapolis is sometimes that's where you flew into to go to Bloomington.
R.I.P. my dad, but he used to call it Indian No Place. I feel like it's a very on the drive to Ohio, we would always pass it and be like, "Oh, Indian No Place."
I love the phrase,
Mr. Miles.
Yeah,
R.I.P. my dad, but
yeah. Or maybe I guess is a better.
I yes butted my dad dying. It's not a good improv technique.
I want to do improv that's just yes but. Has anybody
Yes,
done that
but.
show?
Probably
Yes,
most. They're called class shows. Yes, but I thought of this before I got out here.
Right, exactly.
That's what I want to do is an improv thing where I'm like, and but me.
Pimping, just straight pimping.
Oh man. Anyways, that's the thing about dying.
That is the thing about.
I keep getting older. They stay the same age.
I'm glad we started
Dead and
it out
confused.
with suicide.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
We started it out
Dead
with
and confused.
suicide. We kept it. Like,
I'm gonna edit this part out probably, but I met with this lady who's a huge like Edinburgh PR person and wanted like me to take the show there and everything, and she like saw the show and she was like, it's a weird thing for someone to be like, you know what, this is sellable. Like you're like the disease in my head, and they're like, you got lucky with this sellable thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say this to other people about it.
Yeah.
But it made me so uncomfortable. I'm like, okay.
Of course.
And I'm trying so hard to just like be okay with that. Because she's like this is her job. She differentiates between all this stuff and just has to be like, this is a good hook. And you're like, I'm going to go throw up in the diner bathroom right now because I can't chew.
And I'm sure you have the same, like, promoting it. Doesn't that feel
psycho
you're like,
stuff?
I'm talking about my personal life in a way that I just have to get it out. But promoting it, you're like, what? Why am I promoting
this? This is going to be out next Wednesday, which will be right before your show,
perfect,
right?
Perfect.
Which is on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say it is kind of like inner child work though, because it's like, I don't know about you when you were a kid, but like part of why I became this monster is because I liked showing people who I am and like making them look at it.
Well, that's what's
and
the tough thing is I love doing the show. And I like it's not like a trick, but I'm like, this is the only way I can cope with this is doing this.
Yeah.
And I like everything.
That's exactly how I feel.
But then if someone else is like, this is a good thing that helps people, you're like, ugh.
I try really hard to come to terms with that because otherwise I won't put anything out. And then I'm like, well, what about like little kid you? Like what did little kid you want to see and like experience from other people that made them feel okay?
Yeah, it's also like little kid you is the same in that like, I can kind of tell already. We're all in the same boat of like we don't really know how to express ourselves outside of stand up.
Yeah,
so it's like in personal conversation you'd never get any of this, so I have to put it somewhere.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah, the only way the way I actually feel the most fulfilled expressing myself is conversations with my friends who are comedians.
Yes.
Right.
Because even then I'm like, oh, there's a little more leeway and less expectation.
Right.
And we can like how we're talking before we're recording and stuff like that, where we all come in with sort of this known, this is fine, or this is how we talk, or this is what this is. But the show is a nice second place. I mean, doing the show on its own sure beats doing a showcase and being like, I have 8 minutes just so you know I have suicide disease. Bear with me. I got some puns.
Exactly.
Everybody
prepare to laugh.
And people are just like,
everybody doing JFL auditions right now.
I heard.
For the first year, I'm like, no, I'm so glad I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So glad. I'm not even going to submit a tape for like unwrap. Imagine getting unwrapped.
Oh my God! Right now?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if anything.
Good luck, everybody, but no offense. Yeah.
I don't know if anything's anything anymore. There's a lot of numbers involved. You know what I mean? It's very algorithmic based.
Yeah, and it's like the conversations you have with the industry are like exactly what you just said, where like their brain is broken too, and they're not out here trying to like inspire.
No, I was very happy with this woman because she's so upfront with it. She's like, this is 100% what my job is with this. And then she saw like my sort of like, this is odd. And she's like, look, I know it sounds weird for me to say this at you like this, but
that's nice.
So what Bailey told me was this like idea. She's like, why don't you see if there's anything good that can come from this disease?
There you go.
Instead of pushing back against the parts of comedy you don't like, why don't you just sort of like let the good parts of it ride it downstream and get something out of this whole thing.
I think that's exactly like the attitude that I'm trying to adapt when it comes to like putting anything out, because otherwise it feels awful and it feels really forced and controlled. But I do think it's like, what good could it come out of the fact that like you're experiencing something terrible?
Right. Yeah. Which we all are. All at all times. Yeah.
Everyone is.
But we all are at all times.
There's like a way to cope with it that makes it a little easier.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm actually drunk.
Is that why you hit that curb when you drove here? Did you bust your axle?
I actually relapsed in Denver, and that's why.
You saw the mountains of Highland Park and wrecked into a curb.
100%. I hated it.
I've been looking at like apartments and stuff. I looked at one over here, and it was really nice, and applied. And then after I'd paid the application fee, they were like, "Actually, we rented that one out already." And but I paid the fee, and they're like, "What? Oh, well, those aren't refundable." And I was like, "You don't understand. I just gave you money for a thing that's not real."
Yeah.
So they refunded, and they're like, "You know what? Come look at this other one. It's the same price, and it's so bad. The other one, it's so weird." How bad of a place people will show you and be like, "Do you want to live in it?" Is like it's like psychotic. They're like, "Well, this one's instead of 1,250 square feet, this one's 810," and you're like, that's. How is it the same amount of rooms?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
What'd
not.
you do? Right. What'd you do?
Nick's sister and her fiance are actually moving here today, but we were trying to help them look for an apartment and out here. And they said that everyone that they went to, the person showing it was like really not selling it. They were just like, "You could live here."
A very hipster LA realtor.
I've got a lot of that sort of thing where people are just like,
it was so funny.
They're like, "What do you think?"
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Exactly.
Like they're texting.
Pretty good.
Is there going to be a door?
Yeah.
I would love a realtor who's just looking at Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like some like younger, like mid-20 and younger rental realtors and things like that who are just sort of like,
Yeah. I do feel like if it's the property manager that shows you, they're always a little bit resigned.
Yeah.
Like they're always like a little bit like, the with electric, we could always get this fixed.
Yeah.
I've asked like what utilities are included, and they're like, "What do you mean?" And like, "What do I mean? What do you mean? What do I mean?"
Water.
Yeah. How do you not know that?
What do you do during day? Do you have light? Do you have wet?
We were just talking about how we have fireplaces in our building, and I'm in like a neighborhood group or like a neighbor group chat, and everyone was like, "Hey guys, when was the last time your fireplace was swept? Do you think we're all gonna die?"
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think this place is gonna go up in flames?
Hey, can nobody light their fireplace?
Yeah, I love the amenities that places like now. Like the one that I looked at over here, it's just on the other side of the highway in Highland Park, and they were like, has a fireplace, but it was an electric picture of a fireplace that turns on.
Wow.
So it's flat.
Weird.
Wow.
It's flat, and she's like turns on like, huh, and then makes it like green. And like it could be any color.
Oh yeah,
like I don't need Philips Hue fireplace.
I've seen that before. They're like, it's an entertainment center, and I'm like
no, it's a weird mantle my TV won't fit on. And now my I don't really like when the TVs are like in the built-in mantle really high up in the thing.
I know.
It's just not my style.
But you just got to make it fit where I don't know. Anyway,
this is an actual conversation we're having at home now about where to put the TV.
Really?
Right now, it covers our fireplace.
But see,
Oh.
but that's probably a good height.
I know. Yeah, you got to come.
I want to see.
It's probably a really good height.
Where we used to.
No, don't.
Yeah.
But it's like not where you want it to be.
Yeah.
I go over there all the time, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Do you?
Every
saw
time.
our last place.
I liked your old place.
Yeah. Our last place was
really
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
This is crazy I'm talking about this again because 2 episodes in a row on this podcast, the guests were Chris Martin was on here.
Yeah.
And he's my next door neighbor, and we didn't know that.
From
literally
Coldplay.
in all of Los Angeles.
That's crazy.
And he was like, I came from East Hollywood. I was like, me too. And then he said the street, and I said the street, and then he said the address, and I'm it's 20 numbers away, so the next unit over. And then the next episode, Andrew Youngblood was on here, and he was like, I was like, do you want to ride back? What neighborhood are you staying? He goes, I'm staying with Dan Van Kirk. He lives 2 buildings away from
Amazing.
me.
Yeah.
So 2 episodes in a row within
East
4
Hollywood
houses.
is like also one of the only affordable places.
Very true.
That I'm leaving in a week.
Yeah.
I'm moving out because that Chris Martin episode, we said my address on air, and I had to move like Travis Kelce when he started dating Taylor Swift. It really blew up.
Did it?
No, not at all. We're already looking for places. No, nobody. No, like I can say I said my address to my mailman. They don't find it.
Moving out here is worth it. Moving out here is so worth it.
Out to LA?
Toluca Lake. I don't want to once again
like
say the neighborhood.
right
I'm moving to.
out of central LA.
Yeah.
Like out of Hollywood area.
Yeah.
So worth it.
No, going to like Toluca Lake, so right by
Studio
City, but on the other side of the highway.
Perfect.
It's nice.
Great.
I can see this is true. I can see the Minion from my balcony.
All right.
Have a nice cup of coffee. See if the giant minion's still there.
Bringing my daughter over because boy does she love Minions.
Yes, bring her over. Look at that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Look at that. We should probably talk about movies at some point.
Yeah. Let's talk about movies.
Can I get a time code, Jake?
22 minutes.
Wow.
We've been talking for 22
I mean, that's fair.
Not even about Paul Giamatti.
This is going to be the episode that's out because the Oscars, I believe, are also a week from Sunday.
Yes, they are.
Are they?
So they're that same weekend as your show.
Amazing.
At the end.
My show's only about the Oscars.
I know.
Just people you know named Oscar.
You honestly
died,
you give out your own Oscars. You're like,
That'd be great.
to this person in my life. Sorry, they're dead. But
Why do you have 6 Oscars
you keep
all for
putting
dead
up
friends?
the Heath Ledger Joker image they showed when he won Best Supporting Actor every single time. Show like the cutaways to Anne Hathaway and Christian Bale.
Jesus Christ.
All it took for us to acknowledge that sometimes superhero movies are good was to praise a dead guy.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
When he died, everyone's like, actually, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Now let's make all movies like this now.
You know, Paul Dano was like,
I'm going to go crazy too now. Yeah.
if I get out of here, I might be Riddler in my way to an Oscar.
I love Paul Dano.
I do too.
Oh, he's great.
So good.
I used to live by him in Brooklyn. And I saw him in her mom wrote like a very famous book that I read about the Holocaust, I want to say. But that's his wife, and she's also an actress.
I feel like if you see Paul Dano, your rent's going up.
It was.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you're like,
yeah,
shit.
Oh, no, we were rent controlled.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
He'll
he came to
fix
that place
that.
too. Yeah.
Tell him he's the Riddler. He's talking about people getting displaced. Be like, hey, buddy, you want to fight back against big real
Yeah.
estate?
See those projects right there? I bet you guys want
I watched the Batman and agreed with everything the Riddler did.
because he's smart.
Even when they were like shooting people at the end, I was like trying to see who was getting shot.
Well, who deserved it?
They're just rich people.
Yeah.
They were just, the whole thing was like the Riddler hated, he was like an orphan and he was put into this social system that was so horribly, poorly underfunded and mismanaged that it like ruined his life and all these things. And yeah, I don't agree with like his probably, I know he's like probably a weird incel too. But every time he's saying something, I'm like, I mean, yeah. Batman needs to listen to this guy.
That's like Black Americans watching any Black Panther movie.
Really?
Where it's like, Killmonger is correct.
That was why he was such a good villain.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, hey, you guys did ignore us. So what's
Are you a
going on?
villain? Because just at the end, you just chose to die instead of join the system.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't think we're ever going to get the messages from movies and art that we should as a society.
Yeah.
Like it's
No.
been like years we've all like
Everyone
been
watched
driving
the
the same
the same
storyline.
exact thing, and it's being less and less subtle. As people
Yeah.
watch
Less
The Wolf
is
of Wall
less and
Street and they're
less
like, "That
subtle.
guy's tight."
Right. I know. I know.
Really?
Including me. But yeah.
Same.
Tight as shit.
It's like one of my favorite movies.
Me too. I love it.
The
I love
problem
it so much.
is everyone would make that trade.
Of course.
Well, we
Everyone
have
would be
to
an
now.
asshole. Yeah.
Everyone would trade for his life if he died at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
bad most of it is.
Instead, he got a movie made about him where
And now
has
he's
a
richer in
cameo.
real life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the thing. And then what's her face? Gypsy Rose.
Yeah. Hero.
Gypsy
Everybody-
Rose Blanton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is from Bailey's
Springfield.
hometown.
Stop.
Is Bailey from
too,
Springfield?
yeah,
Bailey
yeah.
was
Holy
friends-
shit.
Bailey
And
was
she,
friends
her
with
mom,
her.
like,
Yeah.
I can't speak too much out of like,
Yeah,
this
obviously.
is not me, but Bailey's mom worked in healthcare and like was very like these like a close story to
Oh
her.
yeah, that's right. Isn't Bailey's mom a gynecologist?
Yeah, and once again, I don't want to be telling her mom's story about
Okay,
knowing
yeah,
this
yeah,
family,
yeah,
but it is a crazy when that girl got out of jail. I was just like, she's either gonna she's gonna get fucked up by
Yeah.
like the system
Yeah.
of like online
Yeah.
perpetual attention, or
Which-
she's gonna be dead in a year. As
Yeah,
like sad
yeah.
and bleak as
No,
that
it's
sounds.
true. I mean, we've
both
seen it. We're over
because
now.
she's definitely.
Optimistic tone,
Yeah.
Lindsay.
I mean, it might be both because she's already checked one box.
OnlyFans?
No, she's not on OnlyFans yet, but she's
Yet.
for sure like loving the social media.
Oh,
attention.
without a doubt. Yeah.
Like obsessed.
But why would you not? Because everything's been so bad, and then you shut your eyes for a few years or whatever, and come
Yeah.
out, and it's like everything that you fantasized about is
Yeah.
the people that made you get through your horrible life, you're now one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's a
yeah.
horrible other side of a thing to be on.
Well, it's also like now we know her story, so it's like you kind of had it's not like Killmonger. You had a point. Like,
Oh no, she was
Yeah,
never
yeah.
at any point the bad guy.
Right,
I don't think.
not at all. Yeah.
No.
I watch so many of them. The older you get, the more you're siding one. But pretty much every superhero movie I watch now, I'm like, they have to make the bad guy do something so egregious that he's not correct the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, they have to make him mentally unhinged.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
Usually they make him do something vindictive, and then that's when we don't like him.
Or the bad guy's a corporation. Like that's the times where you're like, okay, take them down. Even when the bad guy's a corporation, like in Marvel, they're like, well, half the superheroes still like him.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways.
Anywho.
Nobody hates
Speaking
Spider-Man,
of
though.
big corporations, Paul Giamatti. Lindsay, have you seen The Holdovers?
I have.
I also
really?
saw The Holdovers.
Yeah. You haven't seen it?
I haven't. I'm waiting till this weekend.
I love it.
For this podcast. I was going to watch it
great.
last week, but I was like, no.
Yeah, I make you do a movie you really want to see, and then you never record your episode, so you can't see it.
It's a mom movie. It's like a movie where you're like, hey, like, you want to go see this?
My mom did text saying she loved it.
Yep, there you go.
I think that it is... I remember when the trailer for this came out, I was like, is this a prank?
Why?
Because it felt like 1987. It was even like Paul Giamatti had to stay over the holidays at his boarding school.
Yeah.
And then it was and then it was like smash cuts and things, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Let's do the script.
I knew we'd love it.
Will has never seen The Holdovers.
I have never seen it.
love that he's never seen
I do
it.
love Paul Giamatti, though. He came on the Chris Gethard show.
Did he?
Yeah, and we put him in a box for a whole episode.
He's
and he was
great.
so nice about it.
I will never forget Dan St. Germain had a bit about the Ides of March, which is and how Paul Giamatti and Philip Seymour Hoffman are in it. So I was like, I can't see that movie because it's just going to be a competition of sad. It's like about which of the guys is the reason bees are disappearing.
That's funny.
Oh my
He's
God.
got such a calm demeanor. Like, cause it was a weird Gethard show where we were like, the idea that Nicole Driscoll, shout out Nicole Driscoll, came up with was to put somebody in a box and then have the guests for one whole episode try to figure out what was in the box. Mm-hmm. So then when we got Paul Giamatti as a guest, we were like, will you sit in a box for the entire episode?
That's so funny.
And he was like, yeah, sure. And when he got there, he had a book in his hand.
He brought a book for the box?
Brought a book for the box.
Oh, wow.
He was like, I'll be fine. We're like, are you sure? Do you want like have bathroom breaks or anything? Like, we can make anything work for you. You're Paul Giamatti.
Right.
And he was like, I'll be fine. I'm just going to read a book. We're like, what?
I love it.
Does he have like a little headlamp or something?
He must. I don't know how it
What
works.
a professional.
And then Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas were the ones guessing.
Yeah.
And at one point, Paul Scheer opens it up and goes, okay.
That's so incredible. I remember this episode because this was like people did a really good job of not spoiling it either. People were just like, this is one of the most absurd. I actually think this episode was on like this is one of the greatest TV episodes ever
Uproxx
list.
It was on Uproxx list.
Hell yeah.
And
I got quoted in there.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
then I remember thinking, because then I watch it and you're like, how did no one spoil this for me? Everyone was just like, you have to watch. You have to watch.
We had a text thread where we're placing writers at different entry points from across the street in our writer's room to across the street in the studio. And to make sure, like, okay, nobody's on the street right now. Quick, move the target. And we didn't even say his name. Move the target into the elevator over there so he can go up and be unseen. And it had like
so
an hour
incredible.
before the show. So people were like in line.
And in New
was
York,
wild.
most places Paul Giamatti looks like most of the people there. I would say in America.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
for
In the
sure.
Midwest, most of them look a
Yes.
little bit like a Paul
Yeah.
Giamatti figure. In New York, that's like the place people will freak the fuck out if they see Paul Giamatti. Do you know what I mean? Like I believe there or Napa Valley are like the two places that people will lose. 'Cause
Yes.
Sideways was such a big
Yeah,
movie.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think people will lose their minds if they see Paul Giamatti in New York because he's such a beloved actor's actor.
Absolutely.
I would.
I'd
Yeah,
watch him
I
redo
would
My
too.
Dinner with Andre by himself.
Oh, shit.
Is there anything you want to preface about The Holdovers?
My Holdovers?
That you or anything that you brought into it or anything you want
I
us to
brought
know
some
going
wild shit
in?
into this.
Hell
If you don't have to
yeah.
spoil anything,
Yeah, no
but if
spoils.
there's anything
All
you
right.
want us to know, or
No,
you
no.
can just cast it up however you'd like.
Oh shit! All right, I forgot that part. Who's Tim? I'll be Tim.
Okay,
Why don't you be Charles and Chuck
great.
and Professor Paul? You're obviously Devine.
Lindsay's texting me. I asked her if she
so
wanted to do
wrong.
this, and she's like, "This works out well because I've been practicing the voice anyway."
Yeah. I actually talked at Good Heroin about how Nick banned me from imitating anybody of any other race.
Smart move on Nick's part. Smart move. Yeah.
We're pretty late in the game for him to get around to this banning. It sounds like it was like called upon.
Specifically his mom.
Oh,
he was like, because I'll be like, oh, your mom was like, and he's like, don't do it.
Yeah. Even if it sounds just like her, don't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so can you talk like a Philly black woman?
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't seen the movie, but I'm sure she does a different accent than Philly.
Yeah.
She's actually white in the movie.
That's
why the awards are
white.
But she is great. I heard she's getting an Oscar.
I hope so.
Oh my God, she's so
good.
Oh, great. Yeah,
it's out of control how good. I think that best supporting actress and actor are generally the most competitive categories, I think, every year. So it's kind of a shocking thing to see someone be a front runner in something. The acting categories, they kind of always seem to decide.
Yeah.
Or not decide, but they're like, we're kind of going with this.
And it's obvious over the award season who's going to win. Yeah.
The supporting one is always the better role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because oftentimes it's the less traditional.
Yeah.
Or they get to have more fun. For men, it's a bad guy a lot. I don't know why I'm getting into this.
Or Sterling Brown, it's American Fiction.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, that was...
He was good in that.
He was good.
And he's a fan of Southside, so shout out Sterling K. Brown if you're listening. Yeah.
Love it.
Has not recognized me once. I've been around him 4 times. But
he does listen.
He does listen? Yeah. What if he does, though? You don't know.
Numbers-wise, probably.
He loves comedy. Maybe he does listen.
Does he really?
Yeah. Oh, he's a huge fan.
Well, maybe he's still reading the AV Club write-up we got in 2017.
I know I am.
Okay. All right.
Can you play Pretty Blonde?
Yes.
And if there's anyone you want to cast when we get to him, you can do that.
Yeah.
So if it's a spoiler of a character, you don't have to cast it.
And you play Car Passenger, Kyle.
You want to? Are you narrating?
And the other ones,
will you do the narration?
I narrate. Okay, cool. And yeah, the other ones I'll have to cast on the spot, but just know.
Just give a point.
Teenage and teenage.
Okay.
You get to decide who's the teenage and who's the teenage.
Okay.
I think that should be it. And I'm Tim, right? Okay, yeah. Interior, boarding school, Tim's dorm room, morning. Tim, 18, wakes up in bed. He is groggy. He turns over to see his roommate, Charles, 18, packing his suitcase. What are you doing up so early?
It's like 10 a.m.
Yeah, but isn't it Sunday? A beat. Isn't it?
Yeah, Tim. It's Sunday. But it's spring break, and I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Oh, where are you going? To visit family?
Normally that would be something, but it's our last spring break here, so me and some of the guys are going to go to the lake for the week. And some of the girls, too.
Oh, man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, man, we're all going to fuck. It should be great.
Nice. Hey, I'm one of the guys. How did I hear about this?
Yeah, we're all rich, so it's just easier. Look, I got to go. I'll see you when I get back. I'm already late.
Charles rushes to the door and slams it shut as he leaves. Tim gets out of the bed and gets to the window just to see Charles hopping into a drop-top Benz car. A pretty blonde is in the driver's seat.
Get in, losers. We're going to the lake.
We hear others in the car. They laugh at the pretty blonde.
That's so original, Regina.
Oh, I know. Nobody's saying stuff like that.
Yeah, especially because it's 1973.
I guess I'm kind of a mean girl.
We cut back to Tim, staring longingly at the fun that is clearly being had in the car. I wish I was rich enough to leave town for the break. Instead, I'm just a holdover. Title screen, The Holdovers. Cut to classroom the next day. Professor Paul Giamatti's age, is at the front at the front of the classroom. Tim is sitting in the class with about 2 other kids who either are unloved or just don't have enough money to pay for boarding school and something else.
The point of this week is don't bother me. It's just us this week, guys. And what are we?
The Holdovers.
That's right. We are all the Holdovers. Now get to work. Go check on my only friend. I'll be back.
Professor Paul exits the room. Tim turns to Chuck, 18, who is currently fashioning soap into a knife. Hey, Chuck, why are you doing that?
I'm getting out of this place, man.
I think we can voluntarily leave. Chuck looks up.
But what about our parents?
We're all 18 now, and I think you might even be 20. And plus, they couldn't afford to track us anyway.
Well, in that case, I think I might leave.
Chuck gets up, throws the soap on the ground, and walks out of the door. Out of the window, we can see him running away. Professor Paul walks back in with Chef Devine, maybe 30-ish, black.
All right, while we're here, every day I'm going to chill up here with my only friend.
Professor Paul looks around.
Did we lose one of you?
No one answers.
That doesn't matter. Where's Chuck?
Tim raises his hand.
Yes, star of the movie. What's up?
Me?
Yes, obviously.
Chuck left.
Well, you know who else left?
No, that's Chef Devine.
Oh. That's true.
I was going to say, you know who else left? My son, when he died in Vietnam.
Yeah, that would have hit different if it was me.
Oh. Absolutely.
Isn't she a bundle of joy?
Oh, Paul, you get me. Now, kids, while Paul sleeps, I'm going to teach you how to make sloppy joes.
Ooh, I love sloppy joes.
So do I. I even made a song about it, but I don't know if I should sing it. After all, I am only a black woman here, and singing would kind of make me feel weird.
A beat. The class sits in silence. Kids look around, not sure what to say. Professor Paul puts down his hat, sleeping.
Well, now that you all feel an appropriate amount of racial guilt, I'll just say this in the chorus. I'll just say this is the chorus. Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe.
Teenage Adam Sandler, 18, looks up.
Oh, that sounds great. Can I learn the whole song?
Teenage Chris Farley chimes in, too.
Can I be part of this?
Great Chris Farley. Were you afraid to offend his estate?
Can I be part of this?
I wouldn't want David Spade to give me a 2-star review. Duh, you're my best friend, of course.
I'll teach you guys the song the rest of this break if you also help me in the kitchen.
Adam and Chris look at each other, then look back at Chef.
Oh, yes,
Chef. You guys are weird. Like some little bears or something. Or at least you, Chris. You're like the bear or something. Anyway, that's it for me, everybody. Not sure what else I am in this story.
That's it for me, everybody. All right. See you, best friend. Thanks for taking time out of your day to help and hang out with me. All right, class, we have just 1 week together. Let's learn a lot, become better people, and do the most, even if we only have this week.
Chef Devine walks back in.
Because we are
the Holdovers.
All right, now I'm really leaving. I left Adam and Chris in the kitchen.
Chef Devine leaves.
That's right, and if we had money, we'd be better off. All right, let's have some transformative coming-of-age moments.
Cut to interior, Tim's room, morning. Tim wakes up similar to how he woke up in the morning at the beginning of this very script, except this time it's a week later and Charles is unpacking his stuff on the other side of the room. You're back?
Yeah, man, we got school tomorrow.
So how was it?
Well, first we ate so much caviar, we all had to nap for the first day or so. Then we had a bunch of oysters the next day, and, as you can imagine, we all got super horny. And so we had this massive orgy. It was great. Regina and I really fell in love in the middle of the orgy, so now we go together. Then we decided, since we both have so much money, we should start a business. We came up with the name Amazon. Could be cool. Sort of named after the Amazonian sex we had for 3 days straight. Yeah. Anyway, how was your week with the rest of the Holdovers?
In a word, transformative. I like being a holdover. Tim smiles at the camera. The end. All right. Great job, everybody.
That's a great script.
Thank you.
That's a great
I would say
version of the Holdovers.
Your script was less cliche than the movie.
I agree. Wait, so you didn't like it?
I loved it.
Oh, you loved it.
Yeah.
But it was cliche.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I want to take a break real quick.
Okay.
Before I forget, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. What are we looking at?
20 minutes.
Perfect. All right. We're back. We're going to talk a little bit about the Holdovers, a little bit about the Oscars. All right. We were saying it's a little cliche.
Yeah. But I thought the cliches worked for some reason. Like all of it. And also it was like, who was it? I think Sam Wiles pointed out it was like a really male dominated cast and I just kind of didn't care.
That's good. That's a good sign.
Oh, yeah. Sam pointed that out to you.
I know.
He's like, it was a pretty male-dominated
so
cast, and you didn't care.
I was like, aren't you? He was posturing.
No, you didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't care, Sam. I thought it couldn't have been. If you it would be like an Oppenheimer when they like put women in, and it was very clear that they were just
a function.
Yeah.
Like it was like the cook had her place. The woman, there's another.
Clip just that sentence. Thank you.
The cook had her place.
There's the clip we're putting online. Give me some graphics of the cook in this movie.
Yeah. In her place.
By the time this is out, can we get a little bit of her Oscar-winning speech and put it in there?
She stayed in her place.
Lindsay puts on another pair of sunglasses.
Exactly.
No, but I know it's also it just takes place at a specific spot, and they're being.
Yeah, the thing about cliches is they always work.
Yeah,
that's the beauty part.
And they also didn't try to make it too 70s. Like, it was clear that it took place in the 70s, but they weren't driving it home.
There wasn't like a Creedence Clearwater Revival soundtrack moment or something.
Right, and they weren't cool. Like constantly like smoking doobies, like in the way, or like being weird hippie. Like, it was like, oh, okay, they were just normal people that went to school.
It was very normal world. I loved the world building. I don't know if you know about her son actually dying.
I had heard that.
Okay, I was like, that's an insane.
No.
If you just happened to come up with that, I'm like, holy shit.
Absolutely. I like that you just sped it up. Though.
Yeah.
I thought so too. I thought it had normal, good relationships that are complicated and don't always work out, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Spoiler
alert. No.
Yeah, more realistic type of like ending that's feel good, but not like Disney.
Yeah, good.
Right.
And I really do distinctly remember the trailer being so specifically. On purpose, they edited it to look like the movie was coming out in like 1990. And I think this might end up in people's Christmas rotation, honestly.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, when I say it's like a mom movie, it's definitely a movie. Well, my mom was unwilling, but it's a movie where it's like, what do you watch with your parents or family during the holidays? Like, what's something that your parents can enjoy? And it's that movie.
You want to know what we watched last Christmas with
what?
All of my family? Maggie Moore's. The year before that, when my dad was still alive, The Menu.
The Menu.
All my entire family.
I haven't seen that.
It's so
you haven't seen The Menu?
No.
Menu's so good.
I would like to go on record. That might be my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it's up there. It's in the top 5. And that means nothing if you know anything about me.
Let me know when there's a Menu.
Ooh. She is the star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
She's great.
She's great.
I do want to see it.
It's a really good movie.
It's maybe the most, I think the reason I haven't seen it is because it's the most suggested by movie that's ever existed. Like, they're like, you got my Apple TV. If I turn my Apple TV on, it's like, you fucking watching a Menu finally, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, I gotta at least scroll for a minute and get sad and just look at my phone.
I don't know how to turn their pressure off. Like, I like definitely feel old in the sense where I'm like, I swear to God, I turned off your weird previews.
Oh, yeah.
Yet,
Oh,
here we
you can
are.
do that? You can turn them off?
Yeah.
I
like them because they're super loud and piss me off.
And make it clear that I'm watching something when my daughter's trying to sleep.
I'm just trying to like turn this on.
Yeah.
I know where the mute button is.
See,
on
we
didn't
get my niece Lily suggested it at Christmas because she likes like cooking and she generally likes mysteries and I do too. So
It's
I was
a
like,
dark
it's
movie,
gonna be
isn't
great.
it?
But it's
so dark.
In the middle of the movie, she was like, I did not know it was gonna be like this.
That's so funny.
She's like, when I suggested, I thought it was a whole different movie.
This is like when I convinced my
Yeah.
mom to go see Uncut Gems with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know it was mostly that woman's ass.
Yeah.
Like the assest butt that's ever existed.
Yeah.
And then like and we went and saw it in Kansas City. If you want to see a movie like Uncut Gems, you have to go to the indie. AMC is like an indie theater.
Yes, same.
Same in Chicago,
and they have the big seats.
Yeah.
And I was sweating so bad watching this because it's aside from Good Times, this is the most stressful movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm sweating, and then I realized I've had my seat heater on
Stop.
the whole movie.
That's so funny.
And so I've been sweating. My
Seat
back
heater.
is sweating. I'm sweating. I'm like watching this movie with my mom, which is so stressful and violent and full of cursing. And then it ends, and I'm like peeling my shirt off of a seat. And then this was on Christmas Day, I think, or like Christmas Eve or something like that.
God.
We're like, well, time to go back home and tell my mom who Kevin Garnett is.
And wring out my shirt.
So we left and she's like, the tall guy was really good. He looks like a basketball player. Like he's like huge. And I'm like, oh, you're not gonna believe it. How much B-roll did you think they shot? There's like 30 minutes of NBA footage of him playing the Lakers. Do you think they
the real
shot
game?
this?
Yeah. an actual game from the actual time.
Like, do you think they? Anyways,
have you seen Shiva Baby? Mm-mm. Really, it's so good. To me, it feels like if those movies, like the stakes were meaningless almost.
Yeah,
but like they handle it so it's so well done. Well, not meaningless, but just I don't understand any of the stakes.
Sure,
because it's all out of Shiva and it's very like this family dynamics, and it's like, but they play music the whole time in the same way, and it's like, oh, you are stressed for her. You're like, oh my god, this is stressful. Wait, if I step back, it's not actually that stressful.
Right.
Right. Like if you leave, Good Times.
Yeah.
I loved Good Times.
So I loved it.
I did too.
It is so, which I think I just saw someone who was in that movie passed away yesterday, who mixed the ecstasy and the Sprite.
That guy.
And he's only like 38 years old.
Yeah, I
which
saw
is
that.
sad to see. That movie, that movie to me is the way I describe a feeling I have now.
Okay.
Where things make me feel like that movie. It's like the example of that.
Wow, very
where
interesting.
I'm like, oh, this makes me feel like watching Good Time did.
Yeah.
Usually it's like I want to leave a party.
Right.
Or something, but it's such a specifically
I leave places
stressful
so much because of that feeling.
Yeah. Where you're just like,
yeah.
ooh, like I'm like, oh, I'm getting all of this. Like it's like I'm having a dream about forgetting I had a test.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in school for 20 years.
I have dreams about failing all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, like
wow.
And I mean, I did fail, and it was fine.
Right,
right.
Like I graduated, but I failed a lot.
That was the biggest
takeaway
takeaway from school was the stuff you stressed out about. It would always be tomorrow,
yes.
anyways. And it was never that big of a deal.
Exactly.
I usually didn't stress that hard, but I also got bad grades.
Yeah.
I bailed on trying to get good grades halfway through high school.
I have frequently had dreams
when you were dating that grown man.
Yeah, exactly.
I do always have dreams like my windows are down in I had dreams when I lived in New York that the windows were down in my car and I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was just a car in my head. And I would always just like, what's a stressful thing? I would wake up and I had eaten my car.
Stop.
My whole car.
That's such a unique anxiety dream.
Yeah.
That's so unique for
the car windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that and eating your car?
No, I have I have so many. I have missing class dreams. All
missing
the time.
class constantly.
I have late for school. I have you have a test. All that.
Or
sort
like
of stuff all the time.
I have late for school.
About to be caught in school, like after hours or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like,
you know what I don't have any nightmares about? Posting reels at the right hour.
I know. Adulthood in any way. I don't have any
never
dreams
having
about being
a
an adult.
nightmare that my TikTok feed isn't up during peak times.
I could care less about
funny.
anything.
I always have dreams about people not being able to hear me.
Yeah, well, that's
I'll have a dream where I'm trying to talk and I can't talk.
If you look that up, you'll get some dark results. By the way, I've looked it up because I've had those too. Yeah.
I'm sure. Or I'm naked.
Yeah.
I have a ton of dreams where I'm naked and I just can't find clothes and people don't really care, but
Sure. And that's honestly the worst part of those dreams is no one's confused by your nudity.
Well, and I'm exactly, and I'm just and I'm like, well, I guess they'll just judge me, and that's my dreams are it's so weird. Or I have a chipped tooth. I'll have an injury of some sort. It's really mine are very in my own.
I think that Bailey has the least in the most obvious interpretable dreams.
Really?
They're never a metaphor. We played Baldur's Gate. It's like a turn-based video game, like D&D.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I had nightmares that were turn-based and I was getting killed by a warlock. I'm like, oh, that's just because that's what we just did. What we just did, she will have a dream about.
Yeah.
And then we watch Dune. And then she's like, I had nightmares about a worm. And because that just happened.
Yeah.
It's such an in the moment thing that I'm jealous of.
That's beautiful.
Her dreams are about whatever scary thing just happened.
Yeah, all mine are about internal emotions that I hide.
Oh,
mine are decades of repression that's coming out from as a boil on my neck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Literally night terrors. I mean, I have so many sleep talk recordings where I'm just screaming.
I've heard some. They're great.
Yeah, where I'm just like yelling. I'm always trying to explain or fix something.
She has so many in her phone right now.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I love hearing them.
I couldn't do that. I tried recording that stuff and sort of thing. And in my dream, I will stop them and delete them and put them back.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I think kind of awake in a forgettable manner. Just like, stop, put it away. That's
subconsciously, you're like, this can't get out.
I still work at Apple. Subconsciously, I'm like still employed by Apple. I'm actually like changing my iCloud
what
account.
What if that's a chip they put in you? You agreed to this when you signed the contract.
That
were 80 pages. Yeah,
that's fine. Honestly, if they wanted to, that's fine. If they made a chip they could get away with it for this long, that's fucking go for it.
That's true.
I mean, that's fair. I'm ready to be chipped.
I think we all have chips anyway, by the way. That's just chipped.
Like... We all have something.
Or, sorry, Jake Crisps.
Yes, crisps.
You
fucking Brits,
You've been micro crisp.
Yeah, do you call computer crisps? Do you call them computer crisps?
No.
Oh, you should. I think you should.
Anyways.
What do you call cigarettes again? No, just kidding.
Those are chips.
Yes. Yeah, go on about that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite clips
what do you call gay cigarettes?
There's a clip of when Paul Rudd was on Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis.
Yes.
And Zach Galifianakis starts the whole thing, and he's like, sorry, before the cameras were rolling, what were you saying? You were saying the Me Too movement's pointless? He's like, do you want to keep talking about that? You were just saying that women need to know their role and shut up. What was it you were saying, Paul? Like, it's like the first
so
thing
funny.
he says. And Paul Rudd just like goes right. He's like, sorry, no, you can keep going. What were you saying?
Honestly, Between Two Ferns is like one of my favorite.
I think the outtakes from it are the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I just started watching those.
Brie Larson's outtakes from Between Two Ferns are like the hardest I've ever laughed in my life.
Oh, 100%.
You famously don't like talking about your personal life.
Yeah.
So just have one question here. When was your first period?
And then the clip where he goes to John Hamm, he's like, the suit from Mad Men is in the Smithsonian, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, isn't that really wonderful? And John Hamm's like, it's an honor. He's like, is it hanging right next to the Cosby sweater? It's so funny.
It really is just like
so
one of
fun.
my absolute favorite. It will make me laugh.
The outtakes are funny every time.
Every single thing is funny about it.
Tim Kalpakis, you know him? Kalpakis, he wrote for it. I feel like that must have been the most fun job.
I mean, the Barack Obama one is like actually
question.
the funniest thing that could ever happen. When he goes, how does it feel to be the last black president to the president of the United? I'm like, this is the funniest moment anyone could ever.
That's how, because Tim wrote that.
That's so
Tim
funny.
wrote that question.
Whoa.
It's so funny.
It's my favorite thing. Zach Galifianakis, his like early stand-up special.
The stand-up special at the Purple Onion is an unduplicated independent comedy
It's
thing.
one of my favorite of all time.
It's a DVD, maybe one of the 3 DVDs I still own.
I had the DVD, yeah.
I think that
I stole it from Blockbuster online.
Fuck yeah.
When I was trying to be cooler than Netflix.
It was better.
It was.
Because you could take the DVDs back to the store.
Yes, exactly, and drop them off.
I
that
think
was such
about
an easier stance.
where stand-up is at now with specials and stuff like that, where the volume is so overwhelming that I remember the thing that Zach Galifianakis captured, because now lots of times people shoot specials in small places and try and make them look big. And it's easier because it's more inexpensive.
Yeah.
Sure.
But he shot it in a place that's small that I don't think is around anymore.
I think it closed down. I just was up there.
And maybe like even a COVID sort of closure.
Yeah.
And made it feel small. And it felt like you were just seeing him that night.
Yes.
It didn't make it feel like you were seeing a completely polished, it was very polished and very rehearsed, but it didn't make it seem like you were seeing such a robotic version of a thing.
They are kind of now, where it's like you standing up and
it's made for clips.
Yeah, it is. And you could never vertical video edit the
and it's so weird. Thing. It's all over the place. Like he uses at a piano for a bit of it.
I love it so much.
Yeah, he uses the full stage. It's
and that's what you get at my show.
That's what you'll get at Will's show.
All right, I'm not doing straight stand up anymore.
Dynasty
I'm too
Typewriter.
weird now. Yeah,
I think. Dude, I mean, we could talk about this all day. I was like, because it's kind of. I did I don't do any real straight stand up anymore.
Right?
I felt like. I was very impersonal. All of my stand-up forever was very impersonal.
Yeah.
Even the personal elements of it were basically fabricated.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, now I don't know. I have a way to talk about what I want to talk about because you can't get into it after like tricks were like what a lot of the jokes were. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, ha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, listen to me earnestly talk about this thing, and I have thought, and I have, I don't know, it just is like shifted against my own complete resistance behind, because you feel like you're betraying stand-up to do more serious things.
Right.
I know, yeah, for sure.
Or I do.
I do
I'm not
too,
saying
and
you in
but I do too,
particular.
and that's why I kind of like walk away from the stand-up label when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I also resisted. I felt weird about that, because
I
if
know.
someone says you're one-man show, I want to blow my brains out.
So do I.
Yeah, I've avoided doing something like that. I
Yeah.
think for that reason.
Yeah.
Like I had my baking show, but it wasn't as personal. It had elements.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think I'm very good at stand up, and that's always been my narrative. That's always been my like narrative around it. And honestly, it's like if we're looking at the facts and like how people have reacted, it's my joke writing is not consistent, and
It's funny. What are you talking about?
well, it's not consistent. It's not like what you were doing before, but I think now, so I always strive for that, but now I think I am starting to lean into being like just
Yourself?
Yeah, because that
myself.
is hilarious.
I have
We
like-
talk about it every
yeah.
week at the show. It's like when you talk to me and say things that happen in your life, I'm crying laughing. It's
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
I
Yeah.
remember one of the last times I did Good Heroin where you like had a new jacket and you were just like, I'm self-conscious about this jacket. If one joke doesn't go good, I'm going to blame the jacket. And I was like, there's no way. And then you went on stage and said like one thing. And I just think people were just sitting down. And then you were like, look, I know the jacket is a lot. Like it like turned into like you berating this jacket, and Catherine just like starts dying laughing in the back.
Yeah. I just
like,
like have meltdowns on stage.
Yeah.
I go back and forth.
Which is a fun thing for the host
Yeah.
to
So,
have.
yeah. All right, up next, Kyle Ayers.
The tone.
People keep asking me to host, and I'm like,
It's
I
true.
don't know how to explain to you anymore that I will make this more about me having a meltdown than about
A fun
the
part of
comics.
Good Heroin is you and Rob's different energy.
Completely.
Oh,
different.
for
Yeah.
sure. My narrative is that everyone loves Rob more than me. And so I'm always like, yeah, you guys love him because he's so nice and says cool things.
Well,
Like,
you'll be talking about death, killing yourself, killing the crowd.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rob will come up and be like, y'all do remember Pogs, right?
It's so
Like, and he'll say it
true.
in a way that like you weren't there a minute
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that no
yeah.
one has been on the show or ever talked to these people
Oh, I
in any
forgot. This guy's
capacity.
measured and not panicking
Yeah.
on stage. Yeah.
This guy is happy in his
Exactly.
real life, and it shows on stage.
Oh, I love it. One time I asked Rob, I go, do you hate anything? Because I was trying to get him to talk shit.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get him, and he just like, that's not in his nature.
He doesn't.
not,
It
yeah.
doesn't sit with him. If it's something that he doesn't dislike, he doesn't entertain it with time or effort.
He hates negativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing he hates. Is
He's
like
so
just negative
well,
things.
he did say rain.
That
I
fucking
asked, do you
bum.
hate
really?
anything? And he said
Rain?
rain. And I was like, that is the funniest.
Maybe
like,
he meant
That's so nice.
REIGN, like
Yeah.
the monarchy.
yeah, it was like the nicest thing you could have said.
I
but-
literally love rain. I'm
I
like, it's
know,
the best
so
days
He
of my
hates
life
rain
are
because
rain.
it might slow down his Saturday show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
it's
might not be able to
just,
bring people
like,
joy.
He
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like really is just like anytime I try to talk shit about something, I'm like, this person is gave me a look, and I hate it. I hated it.
He's how I know my positivity is all a front. Because I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, you're
yeah.
genuinely always positive. Like I'm mostly positive, but there's so much.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the last year or so much hatred in my heart
I know.
that I now have to get out at all times.
Well,
I
he's
can't
just
stop.
He's good. He's
Yeah.
just a good. He's just like good energy,
He's
and
good
I'm always
and happy
like,
and secure.
don't you think it's
Yeah.
fucking stupid though? And he's like, no.
Yeah, I know. He's even going through the same things, and it's
Yeah,
like,
he's
oh
like,
yeah,
nah, these people just
you're
have-
still in a positive light.
Everyone's carrying something.
I know he's
God
so
damn it,
chill
Rob.
about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'll fucking kill you.
I know. I try to get it out of him every week, and he just
Not
gets
possible.
so uncomfortable.
All right, guys.
All right.
We got to play a game and get out of here.
All right, let's
Okay,
do it.
I love it.
I was like, this will be a pretty Oscars-centric episode.
It is.
It is. The Holdovers will win all
The
categories.
script was a
And
little
by
bit.
Oscars, it's death centered.
Is Leave the World Behind mentioned at all in the Oscars?
I've never
Or did
even heard of
anyone
I
not like
hated
it?
that
You
movie.
hated it? I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, I have a secret crush on Mahila, or I think is her name. I don't know.
The daughter?
The daughter.
Oh, that makes sense. I like her. I couldn't watch that scene with Mahershala Ali and Julia Roberts.
I loved that scene.
No.
How do I not know this movie?
I hate it. Nick and I were crawling out of our skin watching that.
I love things that make me crawl out of my skin.
We were like gripping. It was so hard to watch.
You know what it is? I love like the most boring things, like the movie Showing Up. It's so boring, and I love it.
I have not heard of this either.
I haven't heard Showing
you
Up.
hurt my feelings.
I just watched Dune yesterday. That's where I'm at on movies.
I
I'm
like
four letters in the title.
I just started it.
And
Yeah.
then Bailey had
I didn't know it was
nightmare.
good. Dune's so good.
Oh my god! So I want to see the second one.
Yeah.
And I want to see it in theaters, and I missed all of the reshows of the first one that came through theaters.
I assumed it would be something I'd not be into at all, and when it starts, I was like,
I liked
"Wait, this
it.
is dope."
It's the most incredible. And Jake and I were talking about this for the recording. The set design and the
Yeah.
costumes are unreal.
Yeah.
What's the director's name? I don't know how to pronounce it. Does anyone know how to pronounce his name?
I don't even know the name.
Yeah. I don't-
Denis
Villeneuve?
He
gonna
made
try.
like Arrival and Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, I liked
and
Arrival.
Sicario.
Oh, I
Arrival was
liked
like my
Blade
favorite.
Runner.
What
2049 too.
nationality is that?
Why does that matter? Do you want to see if he's going to be the cook?
Well, it's a weird name, okay? It's a weird name.
Well, it's because
If
it's
you don't know how to
spelled like
pronounce
Dennis
it-
Villeneuve.
Oh,
is like
I've
how
seen
it's
that name.
spelled.
Okay, he's a
If
basketball player, right?
You don't know how to.
he went to Nova.
You don't know how to pronounce it, and so
Here we go, here we
I
go,
gotta
here we go.
know.
Denis Villeneuve.
You think Google knows?
No,
That sounds French.
I like when someone writes out how he pronounces his name. Where
Like-
you're just writing it again.
Like he's doing
yeah, like,
Conan?
how do you
Yeah.
spell Kyle? Or how do you say Kyle? And someone's like Kyle.
Yeah,
That's spelling. Anyways,
Oh, moving on.
he said Denis Villeneuve. We'll edit out the part where I play the audio of that. Made Blade Runner, obviously Dune 1 and 2, Arrival, which is one of my like 3 or 4
love
favorite
that.
movies
Love
ever.
that movie.
Made me uncomfortable.
Sicario.
Oh, that's good too.
And
What?
he had this quote just like a few days ago where he was like, cinema to me is not dialogue, it's predominantly visual and audio imagery. And everyone was like, what is this guy talking? He's like, dialogue I see as a television drive.
Yeah.
And everyone was like making
true.
fun of him. They
Yeah.
were like, this is a stupid quote. Dialogue's great because they're like Tarantino.
Yeah.
and,
Right,
the
right,
Social
right.
Network guy, whatever. I forget that guy's name. Fentanyl, I think was his name.
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
No, I
all
love
these
Aaron
people.
Sorkin.
And I'm like, yes, to a point, but then you see this guy's movies, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, let this guy believe that.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
the movies he makes are that.
The Arrival had
The
zero
movies he made?
little
The
dialogue.
movie he make sounds like
Yeah,
a
the
Netflix
movie
movie,
he
that
make.
no one watched. Oh, you haven't seen the movie he make with Amy Adams, where
It's
she's staring
dumb.
lustfully out at his film set? The girl in the movie that he making. That's just the last 10 minutes of Asteroid City or the movie he make.
I didn't see that movie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't
no,
need.
I
I
fell
don't need to see a
asleep.
pretty good
The
movie.
Asteroid
Yeah, I did
City
too.
framing is so weird to me, but I liked, Wes Anderson can, I'm fine with it, whatever.
I don't really care about Wes Anderson.
This movie, The Holdovers, felt like he could have gave a different run at it.
Absolutely,
yes.
yeah.
And it would
I mean, I
have
haven't
been
even
worse.
Or
seen
I
it,
would
but
call
yeah.
it would have been worse. Alexander Payne is great. But there's a lot of like upper middle class
Yeah.
finding yourself sort of
Yeah.
strong older male character stuff that you
And
kind
that's
of
what I
apply to Wes
gathered, and that's
Anderson.
the only things I put in the script.
It was,
I
but I
know,
mean, you
it's
kind of nailed every part of the script.
Right, that's good.
Um,
I was like, it seems like rich kids and then the poor kid.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
or like rich
Yeah.
kids and then the differently familial
Yeah.
kid. What I like, what's funny in The Holdover, because all the rich kids who are also holdovers do leave
Yeah.
in such an insane way.
Oh, really?
100%.
Like one of the rich, there's like a bunch of rich. There's like 6 or 7 rich kids who have to stay at the school over the break.
Right.
And then I like that we're like, now we'll talk about the holdovers 40 minutes after the script.
yeah.
And then they're all like, hey, my one guy who hates the main kid is like, my dad's taking us all skiing in a helicopter and you're not allowed.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he couldn't
Hilarious.
get like a permission slip or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they all leave on a helicopter one day except Paul
Except him?
Giamatti and one kid.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I know the helicopter thing was so funny. And also it's like the rich kid was so nice. He's like, I'd love for you to come with us.
Yeah, but he couldn't get a parental permission slip.
So
Because your parents are
funny.
probably working
Yeah.
I know.
hard.
Well, you find out, but that's a spoiler. I don't want to get
Okay,
into
don't
too much.
spoil.
Yeah.
His
They're
parents, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Then
Anyways, this guy doesn't want to put dialogue on his movies. Don't do it. Your movies are sick as hell
Sure.
without dialogue.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049 is like the coolest looking movie ever.
Love that movie. I love.
I don't remember it.
Whoever made the one where the pretty woman plays a robot, Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah. That is not him, but it feels like his tone.
It does feel like
bit.
his shit. Yeah.
The one where Julia Roberts is robotic. Isn't that Pretty Woman where the robot?
That's hilarious.
So
All right. We're going to play one game now from our series of 6 games I had written.
Yeah. All right, good. Due to time constraints.
Before and afters. This game is called Before and Afters. So
get ready to play Before and Afters.
As you can see, like Saltburn after reading.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
These are 2 movies that have been smashed together into one movie. I will read you the smashed together plot. You have to tell me the smashed together title. One of each of these, so, The Wolf of Wall Street, Saltburn After Reading, The Holdover, The Hedge, 2 prestigious films.
Crazy.
I could see Paul Giamatti voicing one.
Yeah.
Anything like that. One of each of these is a Best Picture nominee from this year.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So half of each answer is one of the Best Picture nominees from this year.
Okay.
All right. Let me see which one. Let's try and start with one that's not absolute disaster. They kind of all are, unfortunately. Here we go.
Love it.
After living his entire life in a fallout shelter, a young man is sent on a restocking mission and reunites with a childhood friend whose family emigrated decades ago.
What?
So one of these is a Best Picture nominee from this
I thought
year.
both of them.
No, one of these two.
Okay.
Wait,
can you read it again?
Yeah. After living his entire life in a fallout shelter, a young man is sent on a restocking mission and reunites with a childhood friend whose family emigrated away decades ago.
One of them is Past Lives.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the other one, I have no fucking clue.
I was going to say Brigsby Bear, but that might be...
The Brigsby Bear.
Brigsby Bear, that one that everyone has seen, right?
Yeah. We're all always talking about.
Right, yeah. I know it's Past Lives. Yeah. A Day... Oh, Blast from the Past Lives.
Blast from the Past
Lives. Oh, shit.
Yes.
That's really good.
That's the good one. I started with the good one. Next up, a real-life doll gets the chance to travel to the real world where they attract a rambunctious bioexorcist who, after repeating his name 3 times, appears and seems willing to help her out.
What?
Whoa, that's deep, man.
You gotta read it one more time.
Yeah.
It's the second one's a tough one to write a plot to. A real-life doll gets the chance to travel to the real world where they attract a rambunctious bioexorcist who, after repeating his name 3 times, appears and is willing to help her out.
Is that Megan and Candyman?
I thought I had that. Hard Candyman? No.
Hard Candyman?
Because you saw Hard Candyman?
Yeah.
That's
Candyman's movie that gave me nightmares, the first one. I saw it at like a birthday party way too young to see it.
I saw it way too young, and I lived near Cabrini Green. So I was extremely scared.
I used to live by Cabrini Green.
Yeah.
A real-life doll gets the chance to travel to the real world where she attracts a rambunctious bioexorcist who, after repeating his name 3 times, appears and is willing to help her out.
I mean, is it a real life doll?
Is Barbie.
Oh, duh.
And then the other one.
Oscar-nominated Megan.
Okay.
Barbie Megan?
Maybe it should have been.
Barbie.
After repeating his name 3 times, he appears and is willing to help
Barbie
her out.
Man?
Barbie Man?
Barbie Hive? No. Barbie the Beekeeper.
No.
Is it? But I don't know what the second movie is.
I don't at all.
We were looking for Bar Beetlejuice.
Bioexorcist threw me.
It's hard to describe the plot to Beetlejuice without like being like a couple dies or stuck in the house. And I've never seen Beetlejuice.
Oh, really?
So I can't just like riff a plot. I kind of had to look it up.
So good.
I have seen it so many times. It was like a favorite childhood movie.
Yeah, same.
We've done those. So here we go. American composer Leonard Bernstein is hired to be the bouncer at a rough roadside bar.
Maestro Ugly?
A rough roadside bar is hired to be the what?
The bouncer at a rough roadside bar.
Bouncer.
All I can think of is wild hogs for some reason.
Bradley Cooper becomes an old biker for 6 years to prepare for Wild Hogs.
He's got the best
4.
makeup ever. Yeah.
The makeup. It just looks like Tim
Known
Allen
for its
now.
makeup.
I didn't see Maestro.
That's okay.
Neither did I, and I probably won't ever.
Yeah, same.
No offense.
I saw a clip of Bradley
To who?
Cooper
I don't
saying
know.
he missed Leonard. Like he misses him.
Yeah.
And then people are like, they never met.
Yeah.
I don't like Bradley Cooper.
What? He's one of you.
I don't like him. I
You
don't
know what
care.
I mean?
Yeah.
White. I mean white. No.
No, I know. No, I know, but
Yeah.
I just don't. I just think he's so self-important.
What are you basing that off of all of his behavior and the stuff he says?
Yeah.
You basing that off how he is and will be?
And then dating Gigi Hadid.
Is he dating Gigi Hadid? Yeah, I read
Because
that.
her name's almost Gaga.
Yes.
And he's still caught up.
I'm just I just can't and I hate Lady Gaga too. I'll say it.
Whoa, I
know.
love Stephanie
Look,
Italian
Yeah.
last name.
I don't agree with that, but keep saying it because it'll help our SEO.
Yeah, seriously.
Look at
How do you feel about
She
Taylor
hates
Swift?
Gaga.
Here's
Yeah,
the,
oh
here's
my
the
God.
clip. I
And
don't.
Beyonce.
I'm not a fan of Lady Gaga.
We're not unclipping
And
the
her-
part where you told her that where her place was. Just so you know.
yeah.
Lady Gaga needs to learn her place.
Okay, all right.
Where'd these eggs come from?
American.
I don't know. I just,
Oh yeah, that one of these is your shaker if you want to.
Okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
found them.
We are looking for Maestro House.
Oh, that's
House?
not quite a clear.
Maestro Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was thinking Strode House.
Strode House, Saint Roadhouse.
Yeah,
it's
Saint
just
Roadhouse.
a steakhouse in Indiana.
Roadhouse. Okay.
Strode House.
All right, well we
And
got
Indiana
that first
definitely
one.
has Chode House. Go on. Yeah.
We'll always be able to look back at the first one as when we were happier. Next one, a frustrated novelist uses a pen name to write a book that utilizes tired and offensive black tropes, but his small town on the outskirts of London is overtaken by zombies, and he must protect his girlfriend who wishes he would grow up.
American Fiction in Paris?
No.
Okay.
Halfway there.
Of course.
Well, yeah, American Fiction, obviously, but then
His
What
small,
was the second?
zombies.
his small town on the outskirts of London is overtaken by zombies, and
Walk-
he must protect
Oh,
his
what's
girlfriend who wishes he would grow up.
What's the fucking
So weird.
Dawn of the Dead?
It can't be it.
What's the one that took place in?
Sound-wise,
Yeah.
Sound-wise. Oh.
in a crazy way.
Oh, wait. What was the
What
first one? American Fiction Evil Dead?
Evil? No, it's not. Yeah, like what is the name of the one that was English? Because there's like a couple zombie
There
movies.
was a comedy one.
Yes.
Oh, American Fiction of the Dead?
American Fiction of the Dead.
Shit.
Nice.
It's
Very
hard to
good.
describe a comedy without the comedy elements.
Yeah,
Because when
yeah.
it's satirizing, you just get into
Yeah.
zombie movies.
I was like, American Fiction Attack the Block? I don't get it.
Next up, a cantankerous old professor must spend winter break supervising students at a boarding school where the students must dig pits in the desert all day.
Shia LaBeouf Holdovers.
The Holdovers.
The
Yeah, there you go.
Holdover is correct.
Yeah, that's good. I went Shia LaBeouf.
You just said Shia
I
LaBeouf.
know. I like that. Shyla Holdover booth.
Is it
We
LaBeouf?
did that. All right, 2 more, 3 more. These ones, it gets bad.
I like it.
A couple and their 5 children live their normal lives just outside of the Auschwitz concentration
No.
camp, and they hope to enter their family dog in the National Dog Show.
I can't remember the name of the Auschwitz movie but we keep meaning to watch it. It just feels dark.
You are an ally.
I know.
We keep meaning to watch it.
Yeah,
we
I don't
keep-
have any idea what you're talking about.
This
I'd
movie's getting
rather
a lot of
watch-
like very recent huge press. For some reason, I think it's been out for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I've seen a
really?
bunch of people being like, "This movie's unreal."
This movie's unreal.
Like the Holocaust didn't happen.
No,
No. Like they really like the movie. All right, unclip that part.
the Holocaust.
No,
didn't
you make this
happen.
joke- You
Unreal
make this
isn't a
joke
fun thing to
today?
say about that.
What is the name of it?
Like it's
though?
this movie that didn't get a ton of. I'll tell you, this one is The Zone of Interest. It
Zone
got a
of
ton. Right,
Interest.
it's got.
Yeah.
It's just recent. I feel like it's been out, but people are like actually telling me you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
one
hearing
of
that.
my good friends.
But I feel like it's been out for a little bit.
Oh no, he told me to
And-
watch Anatomy of a Fall. They have
Okay.
similar. They have of in them. and
I don't want to watch Anatomy of a Fall
I do.
because of that Jay-Z song. They
Anatomy of a.
do.
You're thinking of Great Gatsby.
No, they do like Big Pimpin'. They do like the Big Pimpin' intro in the beginning of Anatomy of a Fall, but they do it like jazzed up. Did I make that up?
I don't have it.
Somebody in the comments or Discord.
A joke for maybe just us, but Anatomy of the Fall is the alt title of my show coming out.
We're skipping this one. This is the Zone of Interbestin show.
Okay.
2 more. If you didn't get that one, you're going to love not getting these.
Okay, good.
The story of the famous physicist appointed to work on the atom bomb and how he crossed paths with Bob Dylan, portrayed by several different actors.
Well, Oppenheimer, and then...
Is this like the guy who made Coffee and Cigarettes movie?
I don't remember who made this.
Bob Dylan?
Jim Jarmusch is who I'm thinking of.
Well, I don't know what that movie is.
Yeah, I don't...
What Bob Dylan movie? What's the name of the Bob Dylan movie?
Yeah. That would help.
Yeah, give us that.
What's the answer? It'll really help us.
No, we'll put the fun words together, but
yeah, we just want to
bring us the empty pit and the ball pit balls, and we'll play in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bring the water. Bring the slide.
Yeah, we'll put it together.
We're looking for. It is I'm not there. We're looking for up and I'm not there.
I'm Not There is about a bunch of Bob Dylans.
Yeah, like Cate Blanchett, Christian Bale, all play Bob Dylan in this movie.
Is that not
you know
Joaquin
what I'm talking
Phoenix?
About? You know this movie is like a huge movie.
I know that movie.
It's a movie. I'm Not Here is Joaquin Phoenix's fake rap thing.
Oh, okay.
Last one. By far the worst one.
Oh, God.
A young woman comes to life through a brain transplant using the brain of her unborn fetus and struggles to form a bond with the man who still, despite exiting his 30s, never had sex.
I mean, 40-year-old virgin.
Love 40-year-old virgin?
Yeah.
Is there a movie called Love 40? No, not at all, right?
Sounds like a Judd Apatow basketball movie.
Like
Tennis.
can you read the beginning part?
A young woman comes to life through a brain transplant using the brain of her unborn fetus.
What was
that is wild.
Again?
What is that?
No one knows this is the plot to that movie. It's nominated for Best Picture this year.
It is? I would watch that. Is that Anatomy of a Fall?
We're looking for The Poor Things Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, I never saw Poor Things.
I didn't either.
The Poor Things
Now I really
Year-Old
want to see
Virgin.
it.
Yeah, Poor Things Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, I think she commits suicide while pregnant, and they put the baby brain in her body, and then
oh my God,
everyone wants to fuck the baby brain.
Well,
oh wow.
And on that note, Will, you have a show coming up?
Sorry for wearing sunglasses.
Wow.
It's okay. Thank you both for being here. Will, thanks for having never seen The Holdovers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go watch it probably this weekend.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
Lindsay, thank you for being here and haven't seen The Holdovers.
Yeah.
Will, tell people where to find you if they're in LA this weekend, or this will be out.
If you're in LA, March 8th at 10:30 p.m. at Dynasty Typewriter, there's going to be a show called Kid Ha's Playhouse. The alt name for it is Musings from an Aging Stoner, and it's about dealing with grief and depression, but it's only funny, and the way I talk about it is through sketches and interviews, pretending like I'm Jimmy Fallon, and maybe a cooking show. I also have guests from like Andy, who's the owner of the restaurant Bub and Grandma's, who's going to help me try to convince me to remain a comedian or become a restaurant owner, which is my real dream. And I have a special guest for the Jimmy Fallon interview portion, who I don't know who it is yet, but I'm going to find out today, I think.
Ooh, I'll be there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'll be there. That'll be really fun.
I like Bub and Grandma's breakfast sandwiches. Are humongous.
Yeah.
So good, too.
You got to get there early.
Their croissants are decent.
Yeah, decent. Oh, the baker. You got to hire her now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did a croissant review of them, and it's
really,
decent. Yeah.
Well, Andy, we'll talk about this, and I'll let you. Wow. You and Andy can roast each other.
Yeah.
At the show.
Wow. Well, Lindsay would say that they over roast it and it's burnt on the outside.
Excuse me.
Wow, I love their croissants and donuts.
Look, they had their sesame bread thing that was really good.
Yeah, the black crostoni sesame.
Yeah,
so good.
That was lit.
Tastes like chocolate. I don't even know what it is.
I don't know, but I love
Yeah.
this is the end.
I know, right?
This is one specific bakery restaurant in Glassell Park.
Bub and Grandma's.
Which just sounds like a before and after that I put together of Tom Hanks movies. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
I was about to ask you, like, what do you have coming up to? It's like, this is your show. They know.
I've never seen it.